Hey, welcome back to wook+live. What's up, guys? You could tell we have a producer back tonight because all the misfires with the banners and shit in the intro. Kev, you all right? You look a little annoyed. You good? Feeling good tonight? Talk
Two
to
thumbs up.
you.
He's feeling good.
Yeah, man. So, a couple of housekeeping things before we bring on our guest. We're going to be joined in a minute by Megan um, from Osiris HF Pod and the Snarky Puppy Pod and everything else. But so that countdown music is, if you're curious or interested, is from my band Hugh. And this Saturday around like 4:20, we are going to be broadcasting a full set of music live from the Wook studio. So if you're interested, I appreciate the support, and I think it's gonna be pretty good. We got got our shit together, and it sounds really good. So you can watch that right here on Wook Plus on Saturday. Also, we got Fish Tour coming up, which is what we're gonna be talking about uh, tonight. And 15 minutes after every encore, we will be live. Kev, do you know what time in the morning that's gonna be? Have we figured that out yet?
I
It's
so
insane,
should
right?
be over 11:30, like midnight there, 3 a.m. here.
3 a.m. for you guys.
Yeah, so 8 balls all around, right? But we're gonna do it. We're gonna be here 15 minutes after encore to just talk fish and recap the shows, and we'll be taking team chat
It may
involvement.
just be me.
Well, you don't think I'm gonna make it? God damn, man!
I got pick 'em at 5 to 6.
All right. You know what you always want me to do? You always want me to put the poll on YouTube. I'm gonna make a poll if Wook's gonna make it to the after shows.
Give you a poll.
Yeah, you.
The first two are fun because it's like Friday and Saturday. It's the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday Berkeley ones.
They're
You better hope
early.
you don't go late.
Aren't those shows early? See, I thought
Like
that those shows
6?
were like 6. Yeah, so
So,
they'll be
like-
over by 10, so it'll be a 1 o'clock.
So 1 o'clock, yeah.
Well, bars are still open at 1. 3 bars aren't even open.
I think
True.
Jay's right. Jay's like, what the fuck? We literally only are watching this bullshit to hear Megan, and these idiots are talking about all this other nonsense. All right,
Time zones.
all right. Well, let's do that. Hey, what's up,
There she
Megan?
is. There we
Hey,
go.
everybody. Hi,
Oh.
how are you guys?
In case people wait, where are the display names? Why aren't they coming up?
I don't know, because you're
Our producer,
you got a
man.
producer back there fucking our show up.
Fucking everything up. Oh, so what's up, Megan? How you been?
What
I'm
the
great.
hell?
It's so nice outside New York. It's like summer vibes up here. It's awesome.
It flipped overnight. It feels like because it
Yeah.
was just shitty ass cold weather, and then like a week ago, all of a sudden, it's just been so beautiful out. It's really hard to focus, honestly. This time of year, like getting anything done or getting work done, and all you want to do is just go hang out and chill outside in the nice weather.
Yeah, it's stoop sitting season. It's nice up here.
Yeah, but so you've been busy though. I saw
Yeah.
you and young Ryan just started a new podcast pretty recently. You figured you didn't have enough going on, enough podcasts.
Yeah, like we were joking before, I'm at risk of being overexposed any minute now. But yeah, no, I've got HF Pod, and then Ryan and I, Ryan talked me into starting this Snarky Puppy podcast with him, and it's been really fun. Actually, I was hesitant because I didn't know anything about Snarky Puppy, and I was like, I'm only going to do this if it's very clear that I am not an expert. I'm not going to try to go on the show and like bullshit my way, because you could try, right? You could try. So it was cool. We had this idea that I'd kind of learn about the band while I'm listening to the shows for the podcast, and it's been awesome. And I'm going to see them tomorrow night at the Beacon. I'm super pumped.
That's a really cool, I think, premise. I guess what was that fish podcast way back in the day where they taught
Analyze fish.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
that
I love that
concept,
one.
right?
Yeah, except like I'm not like a comedy writer who's kind of curmudgeonly against Snarky Puppy. So that's like a little bit different. Like that's what was so awesome about Analyze Fish, right? They like his friend hated it. And so he had to
Yeah.
like, try to convince him, and he would like play stuff. It's so funny. I love that podcast. It's one of the kind of best original fish podcasts. But yeah, I think
way ahead of its
this is
time.
way ahead of its time. Yeah. This is more like, not as funny, but I'm more optimistic. And yeah, Ryan knows so much about music and he knows a lot about this band. And so it's really cool because we're kind of breaking
What?
down.
Ryan knows a lot about the bands that he likes.
Well, I've given him a new nickname, Young Stuff. So we're going to try to push that.
Oh, nice. I don't know if
Yeah.
you knew this. He got his Young Ryan nickname here on wook+.
I'm not surprised.
I started
but
That was
calling
the
him
first
Young
time.
Ryan because
Yeah.
I was differentiating from another Ryan that I knew just in my head.
Oh,
So
really?
I referred to him as Young Ryan. And there you go.
He
Hey,
fucking
Ryan.
loves it. He's like, yes, they're talking about my favorite topic.
Yeah, no, it's been great though. I love working with Ryan, and he's just awesome, and it's been really fun. So I'm glad we got to hang out at Goose a couple weeks ago in Philly, and we had a really good time.
Yeah, no, and he is super knowledgeable, and I think that premise of having someone who's novice to a topic, like a specific band, with somebody who's like super ingrained and having that dialogue, because I feel like if you're two people that are very ingrained, you can almost talk over the audience, like, right, because you're not even realize it, or if you're too novice, like two people that are like that have no idea, then it's like, what's the point, right? You're not learning anything. But when you have that kind of conversation, I think it lends itself to a really great podcast. So I think it's kind of cool that worked out that way and that you're open to doing it.
Yeah, it's been really fun. Thanks, Ryan. I've been learning a ton. And, it's just like one of those things where it's cool to think about kind of a different genre of music through like the lens that I think about Fish. Like the way that I analyze Fish when I like go on HF Pod is I like listen, I take tons of notes, and then, I do background. And so it's fun to kind of use that lens to look at a different band that I don't know anything about. Cause like with Fish, I've known about them for so long, and it's like so nostalgic, and it's so, mired in like memories and feelings and emotions. And it's cool to do that with a band that I don't have that with and see what it's like. So it's been an awesome.
Lots of repeated listenings to Snarky Puppy.
Repeated? No, I'm listening to the show like one really close listen all the way through and taking notes while I do it. Mm-hmm. So then sometimes I'll listen to the studio tracks too, because we're listening to live shows. But yeah, I'm mostly.
Usually people like to listen to shows repeatedly from front to back.
Yeah.
God damn.
Not you though, right?
All right. So, right. Not only is it a terrible take, but it's an inside thing without any context to derail a conversation. So let's back this train up for a second and explain what the hell I don't even know if I want. We have a thing where after a show, right, a lot of people will re-listen to the show. Like Fish, for example, they do a performance, you see it live, they'll go back a couple days later and they'll re-listen to it. Kev thinks that's idiotic and that we're all out of our mind that we would listen to something twice. But I'd have literally never met any other Fish fan that will never go back to listen to a show again. And I actually would argue that that's our...
Yeah, that's like what we do.
I listened to the Maze Cavern sequence on April 5th 2 or 3 times. I listened to those 4 songs, but I did not play any of the whole Island Tour shows through on any of the days to relive it.
Yeah.
That's not as bad as I thought you were, but...
So you listened to a part of the Island Tour. Yeah, that's good.
I listened to, and that's my favorite thing. That might be my favorite 30 minutes Fish ever played. I
feel like you and Ryan are like antithesis of each other. Like...
Yeah, different ends of the spectrum.
Right,
for
Zoomer,
sure.
Boomer listens to like 20 times, listens to it once.
It's not going to change, Ryan. You listen to it 10 times, it's going to be the same thing it was the first time.
But you might get something different out of it, Kev. Come on. I got to hang out actually with Kevin at Goose in Philly also.
Oh, how was that?
Yeah.
Oh, it was fantastic. We got into the we were all in the friends and family section, and we got to hang out with RJ and Young Ryan and some of the Goose people. I think Hosewood Goose was there, and
Neil was there.
I was 2 rows behind RJ on night 1, not planned out or anything. It was just like, and he had like all like a lot of Osiris people. We ended up like owning that section for the night.
Oh, that's awesome.
He's living his best life, though. I got to shout out for him. He just. Like we all do this, we make content, and like you think you like see people the way like they personify through like the camera or whatever. But I always love meeting people in real life and seeing them enjoy the passions that we all are passionate about, because it just gives you, it reminds you of like that. I don't know. He's awesome. I love RJ.
And
there's nobody better to see a show with than RJ. He's so fun. We have the best time.
And like Greg said last week, he and I got the stink eye because we chomped our way through Born, the half-hour Born. We sat there and talked about life and
What do you
being,
want?
you know.
Sympathy? You're not
No,
gonna get
I'm
it
just
from
saying.
me.
I had a great time, and I think that Greg had a great time during that Born Jam. But we got a couple of stink eyes coming back.
Poor Kev talking through the Goose Show, wishing
Yeah.
people.
Mm.
Wow,
There was a
Kev, holy
bar right
shit!
there.
That poll.
Yeah.
2/3 of our audience don't think I'm not making it to the after shows.
Wow. Now it's like the gauntlet's been thrown down.
Honestly, I probably wouldn't have made it to them all now, but now I've been challenged.
Now you
So
fucking have to. Yeah.
I'm just hoping I can rope tea in because it'll still be earlier on the West Coast.
It will be. And the one time Megan was on with me on an after show, Lenny didn't show up, and it was just you and
Merriweather,
I.
right.
That was
Oh
the
yeah,
night
that was really fun though. We had a
that
good
Lenny-
time.
yeah, I was just thinking
We
that,
talked
like,
about like dog CBD and stuff.
yeah,
It was great.
yeah, we did. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Speaking of people not making the show, Tim, that was the night Lenny dished out on us, but we carried it well. I thought that was fun. We did good.
Yeah, what show is that after? I don't even remember.
Merriweather, because I was at Merriweather.
Oh, it was
Was it?
Merriweather?
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
Merriweather.
that
That's why
seems
you
like
weren't on
100
it.
years ago, right?
Because you were at the Man, right? Last summer.
No, I wasn't at the Man.
There might have been the Man. They were the only shows that I went to besides
Oh, that you
Dick,
couldn't
so.
do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it had to be. It probably was the Man because Lenny asked to be on the Philly.
Yeah,
one
he
because
wanted to
was
be on the
from
Man
Philly. He's like,
because-
I'm from Philly. I want to be on that one.
Yeah, that makes
There
sense.
you go.
I
There you go.
remember that. Well, we're not gonna have any guests for this tour because we didn't want to ask
Make
people
people
to stay
stay
up
up.
till 3 in the
Yeah.
morning. But Kevin and I will. Hopefully, I will. I mean, 2/3 of you don't
Yeah,
think I will, but
We'll make it happen.
You
We
can
will.
show him. You can show him, Tim.
If not,
Yeah.
I'll put myself on 2 devices and I can talk to myself.
Kev, what did you think about this song? Well, Kev,
Well, it's all bad takes. That's great. Just
That'd be amazing.
well,
that'd
so
be amazing.
I can't believe it, but tour's on Friday. That's in 2 days. I don't know. I
Wow.
am so freaking pumped for this. I can't. And, all right, I have a lot of thoughts going through, so I'm gonna just take a breath.
Calm down.
Can you believe that MSG was a year ago? That
Actually,
420
no.
run? That
No.
feels like 10 lifetimes ago.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago.
But then it also feels like yesterday because it was so much fun. It was so much fun. I wish they were doing an April run again. Like, what do we have to do to get that to happen again? That was so fun.
Wait, are you looking for sympathy for New York? You're getting 7 shows at MSG.
I know. Wait, I want to talk about that and see what you guys think. But anyway, spring tour first.
Yeah, so we got Friday, Saturday at Climate Pledge Arena in Seattle. Skoy and company are going to be thrilled about that. It's weird that they're not playing a Sunday show. I don't know what
Yeah.
that's about. Is there a reason? Has anyone come
Yeah,
up
because
with
they're
a
doing
theory?
a Monday show.
Yeah, travel day.
Yeah, that's
Monday.
weird though. I guess
Yeah.
because Berkeley and the Greek, they wanted to have the extra day, but I don't know. It's a scheduling conflict. So then Monday through Wednesday, you got the Greek taking 420 off, and then finishing up at the Hollywood Bowl. You'll be out in at the Hollywood Bowl, right?
Hollywood Bowl.
I will be at the Hollywood Bowl.
Oh,
So-
that'd be
so-
so fun.
All right, let's dive into songs. I say that there's going to be at least 2 new songs in Seattle over the 2 nights, and I think one of them's going to be "I'm Strolling," and I think the other is going to be the Mike Gordon "Tilting." I think
Tilting
those 2 are going to
slaps.
show up.
I really like that song. Oh, he jumped the shark. Megan, what do you think we're gonna get? You think we'll get any new songs coming up?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it'd be great to hear something off January. I really like the album. What I really want to hear though is like the sounds from that album influencing Fish Jams. That's what I really, really want to hear. I love the like synth heavy, kind of the more like ambient indie rock vibes. Like I want to hear that in Fish Jams. I felt like there were moments in Mexico that they were like hinting at that, like right before they jumped on the Tramps on Yem. And like there's some other times when I just felt like they were kind of playing with those sounds, but I want to see them go like really far with that this tour. Like
That would be
You know, it's-
great. I mean,
it's like, I don't-
it seems
don't
like the
care what they play.
evolution does heavy synth in January and some of those things feel like the evolution of the bleeps and bloops that they've been introducing, that like the Plinko jams that they started over like the last 2 years. I feel like that'll be like the next evolution of it. And I love it. I'm all about more synth in jams.
Hell yeah. I mean, Paige is just like, his stuff is amazing that he's been doing. And I really thought that album was super cool. And I feel like I don't care what they play if they're playing deep jams and they're listening and they're playing interesting stuff. And, there were moments of that in Mexico. I think, when I think back, like I remember the last time I think I was on Wook Plus to talk about like the best jams of last year. And I was
That was
thinking
a
about
great
some of
show.
those jams. That was so fun with Benji. And
Yeah.
there were some just absolute monster jams last year that were so good. And I happened to like hit a lot of really great shows last year. So my feelings about like 2022 Fish, I think were a lot different than the people that went to like Alpine or, I don't know, like didn't see. I saw like, the MSG run, AC, like, I hit the Raleigh show, which I thought was like a heater, a secret little heater, and then I think people who didn't see like Bethel and, I think there was shows that were like crazy strong. And so I think that it's still there, but I'm really, really, really curious about what you guys think about kind of the stakes of this tour for the band. I think, and maybe just because I'm spending a lot of time in like Goose World, but like there's such an intense comparison right now. And I see so many people who are like so in to Fish now just being like, I'm not into traveling for Fish anymore. Like I'm traveling for Goose or like, and I
Right.
just
It's
am
like the
curious.
cool
Like,
thing to do.
yeah. And I just think it's like, they're a band that's like 1993 Fish, right? It's like they're like growing exponentially and everybody's like learning about them and they're young and they're like kind of starting to peak. And I think that that's like in a really exciting time in a band's, kind of evolution. And so I feel like it's super hard for Fish to fucking compete with that, like it's just,
I mean,
a different time.
I'm a fanboy. I don't think that's like hidden, right? Like anyone that's seen this show or seen this channel knows that I stand pretty damn hard for Fish. But I kind of feel like it's
Same.
mostly a result of Fish not having played in a while and
Yeah.
Goose being what's available. And I feel like right now the temperature is kind of cool on Fish. I did a poll today, like, are you going to webcast? Mostly
Yeah.
because I was curious about the thing. And like 60 or 70% said not at all. Like, no, fuck, I'm not doing it.
Wow.
But I kind of think, though, that they're going to burn the house down in Seattle and come out just guns blazing. And by the end, by Berkeley, say, right, it'll take a couple days because
Yeah.
people, I think by Berkeley, everybody's going to remember what
Yeah.
Fish does. And then I'm not saying they're going to abandon Goose. Like, Goose is on fire and they're great. But I think right now people are just not,
Yeah.
it's out of state, out of mind.
Out of mind. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think Fish is going to phone it in this year. It's the 40th anniversary, and they're just going to be like, whatever. And they'll be competent, they'll be good, but I don't think that it's going to be looked back on as one of the great years of Fish.
Oh, I fucking
No.
hope you're wrong, Kevin. I really hope
Yeah.
you're wrong.
No,
I
no,
really
no
want you to
20-minute
be so
jams,
wrong.
Kev. No 20-minute.
Yeah.
There's probably lots of 25-minute jams that go
Okay.
nowhere for 10 minutes.
I can't wait to snip this part of the episode and just taunt you with that every after show. 15 minutes after
Yeah.
encore, I'm just going to start the show with, they're going to phone it in this year, and we're just going to talk about all the ways you're 100% wrong.
That's amazing. Well, I'm glad to hear the optimism because I feel the same way. I feel like, I've been listening to all this Fish like for HF Pod like chronologically, like each year we listen
Yeah.
to like just a show that we pick, and it's just insane what this band has done, and listening back to these shows that are, not even like the best show of the year necessarily. And they're still just so incredible. And I think it's just been a real kind of like awakening of my like long love affair for Fish and reminding myself like how unbelievably epic this band is. And so I think they're going to be great. I think they have a lot to prove in a way too, because I don't think people aren't super happy about the MSG run. except for
No,
like
they're
me.
not.
Yeah,
I'm
so,
not.
like, Yeah. So I feel like to kind of like encourage people that it's a good idea and you should come to New York. Like, I don't know, maybe they're going to just, they need
Come to
kinda
New York
smoke
and
it.
hear our 5 new songs we've debuted on Spring Tour.
Yeah.
I don't think 22 was as bad as a lot of people think either, though. I
Thank you.
I think there's a comparison, like a relative thing, because 21 finished so
Yeah.
hot. Like Summer 21 was a great tour, and then when they went to the West Coast, it was some of the best Fish there's been in
insane.
a decade. So
Yeah.
then when you come to 22 and it's like everything kind of dropped a notch. But if you put like 2016 up against 22 head to head, or 2018 even, like I'll say 15 and 17 were probably better.
Yeah.
But like a lot of the other years of 3.0, 22 is as
Oh,
good,
yeah.
if not better. So I think that since the pandemic, coming back with what we're calling 4.0, they've been on a very high batting average. On average, they've been very high.
I
So
think
yeah,
so
I
too.
guess we'll
And
see if they
yeah,
keep that up.
yeah. And what I always say too is like, they're just like, it's their own fault. Their expectations for Fish are so off the charts. I mean, we just
Insane.
expect fucking excellence, like every night. And it's like, it's art, it's magic. It's not going to be excellent every night. And I think that we expect that, and they still deliver pretty close to that regularly. So
Yeah, no, I
I,
agree.
I was very much into the expectation game seeing the Grateful Dead. And I was always disappointed when I left the show because I could
yeah,
pick 50% of the set list because they had such a small pool of songs and you never got anything that was, it was always Scarlet Fire. If you got a Scarlet Touch, it was like, my God, this is the craziest thing ever. With Fish, I always felt like anything was on the table. So I never, I think, got sucked into the expectation game as much with them.
Well, I think that's because
love that.
Fish is they're like the masters of subverting expectations, though.
Totally.
I don't know
Totally.
anyone that does it better. And like in pop culture, you see a lot of like hate on like Marvel right now and DC and Star Wars, and like there's like this fatigue that people are talking about. And I honestly think the number one culprit of it is that they have not subverted expectations at all. They actually lean into it thinking that it's good to hype things up and
Yeah.
leak but then it never meets it, right? So I think that one of the reasons that Fish has been so successful over 40 years and continues to like keep us coming and interested is because you never know what the hell is going to happen or what to expect, except for
Yeah.
set 1, set 2, encore. If they ever got rid of the encore or changed the format, I mean, it would melt my face. I had no idea what the hell was going on. That is the consistency I need in my life. Everything else I want to be random.
Some people do have problems with encores. I know we talk about that on HF Pod sometimes. People get mad, like just play through. I love it too. It's like that last little piece. Like otherwise you'd just be sad. You'd never know when it was going to be over. Like you'd just be like, is it over now? Like it'd be so scary.
Berry Band used to not do encores very rarely. I saw 4
Yeah.
shows in '93 and only one night they did an encore. And usually it was "It's a Wonderful World," that Louis Armstrong song, if he did it. But there's a band called the Super Suckers, and they have the patent pending fake encore. But he stands there and talks for 3 minutes about how bogus encores are and the band's doing band joke backstage. And so he basically eats up 3 minutes. But he's like, well, that's not us. We're here for the fans.
That's awesome. That's so funny.
But yeah, I think it does. People expect it now, and that becomes the issue. You kind of have to do it because people won't know.
And honestly, when they fucking nail the encore, like there's nothing better than that, like there's nothing better. I do think though that I don't know. What do you guys think? Like Trey doesn't write set lists anymore, right? He just has like a pool of songs. I don't think it'd be the worst thing if he wrote some set lists again. He's so good at that. And I think that in the past, like, especially listening back to these like early mid 90s shows when he was really writing a lot of set lists, like the flow that he was able to get was just so unbelievable. And like, that's my favorite thing in a show when there's like a journey and it feels like, there's a consistent arc to the show.
Right.
There's a story. Yeah. And I don't know. I think it would be like, I know Trey is like trained himself to go on stage and like just play whatever, but I think it wouldn't be bad to just start writing some set lists again.
Do you feel like there are crutches? I always feel like Tube is a crutch. Trey doesn't know what to play. He calls out Tube.
Yeah. It just becomes a little predictable and also just like it doesn't flow as well always. And it's like if you're not in that vibe where you are able to nail every song that should be played, it can really like fuck up the night,
I mean, we have real time like proof of what you're talking about though with Baker's Dozen. I think part of the reason it was so exceptional was the set list structure and writing it out. But at the same time, I feel like I don't know exactly what the reason is why he's not doing it, but I tend to try not to question the decisions that like artists like that make too much because I can't replicate what they do. So if there's a reason creatively that he, for whatever reason, feels like he can't do or won't do that anymore, then I have to trust that. But I think just based on the empirical, like, not empirical? But based on like the Bakers, I agree. I think it would be phenomenal if he wrote more set lists.
Yeah, it'd just be interesting. I'd love to see like how that changed the shows,
So you're clearly hyped about MSG, right?
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I mean, there's nothing better like than being in New York and going to shows in the summer. It's really, really fun. Like it's great. We go to like rooftop bars before and hang out outside. And the only thing that sucks about it is that there's no lot, which is like I love the lot.
And the
I
second
like
mortgage
love the lot.
and the second mortgage you got to take out on your house to go.
Well,
I
not if
know.
you
I
live
mean,
in New York.
but I
If
live
you
in
live
New
in New
York.
York, it's easy. It
Yeah. So for me, it's great.
It,
But
it,
and
it's great for
also,
it is great for Connecticut, New York, Jersey, though. If you
mhm.
could take the subway in, I mean, that's great because you can go home every night and show up for work, sort of maybe the next day.
Yeah, and I'm off work. It's great. And so for me, I'm going to save a lot of money because I'm going to go to see North Carolina, and then I'm going to see a night at the Man probably, and then just do a bunch of MSG. So I don't have to travel as much as I might otherwise. But yeah, I know a lot of people aren't, and that makes me sad. And I get it. I mean, I love like summer tour outside shows. That's like the
I
good
believe
stuff.
tickets are still. Believe that there are still tickets on sale
Mhm.
for MSG and Dick's. Like the Man is sold out, and I think North Carolina,
Man's a
like the
small venue, though.
North
Huh?
Carolina's pretty small too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
the
think
Wednesday ones.
Fish could have gone a long way in preventing like the backlash and like the feelings of MSG if they were a little bit smarter with their tour layout, like not having a Deer Creek or an Alpine. Like
Yeah, I know.
like I get it. Like Fish is an East Coast band. I'm an East Coast person, so yeah, I'm not gonna go down that path. But it's not like you need to do a whole tour in the Midwest. You just need to
Right.
hit these couple of isolated spots. That would go a huge distance in appeasing that portion of the country and that portion of your fan base, and then come back and do 7 nights or 8. Yeah, they're doing. That's the other thing. Is weird. I don't know why. I'm curious if you have a theory as to why they're not playing that Sunday night. It is weird as shit.
It is weird. I don't know.
but-
Maybe they just feel like they need a night off. I don't know. It's
Well,
weird.
do you know what that Sunday is? Is Fish Day? Like, did you know
Oh, the day that for the Baker's Dozen?
Yeah, the day that
Oh,
the mayor
weird.
or whatever
Yeah.
proclaimed it as the Fish Day, and they're not playing at MSG on Fish
Free
Day?
show, Central Park.
Central Park.
Yeah.
Free
Well,
show.
I heard that rumor and I was
Crazy
like,
roof.
yeah, that'd be great. But then I heard a rumor that it makes way more sense and makes me way more upset and cringe, but that they might do a Sirius XM like inclusive fan only show at like Beacon or like Radio City or something. I don't know.
Mm.
They're all rumors at this point. I hope they don't do that. That shit didn't go
I
over
can't
well.
imagine that doing that. Yeah, I can't imagine that. That'd be weird. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know. I mean, I think it's going to be fun, but I get it. I get why people are not into it. But do you think they'll do like a huge, out west fall tour?
No.
Yes.
No.
I bet
do.
after I
Kev
bet
doesn't.
after summer, after
Travis, what do you
Dick,
think?
I
You're the
think
deciding
after
vote.
Dick, I think after Dick's, you're going to get New Year shows, and they won't do anything.
Really? Well,
I don't know.
I guess
There
they
are-
went out west about spring. So
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
another thing. Like
Yeah.
they kind of, I think these 8 shows are the whole, and then there's no Halloween in Vegas or anything, so I don't think they come back.
Can I lay
Yeah,
some
so.
truth down? Can we timestamp this? We're 30 minutes into this episode on 4/12. I'm going to make a prediction. We're going to come back to this. They're going to do the summer tour through Dick's. There's not going to be
Mhm.
Halloween or anything. We already figured that out with Halloween and Tab going to be there. They're going to do an end of November fall winter tour that's going to culminate in a 40th anniversary on that December 3rd, 4th weekend. It's going to be fire. And then they're going to do New Year's at MSG. But there is absolutely
Yeah,
going to
I
be a
love that.
fall winter
I think
tour.
so,
And it's
right?
going to be the
Maybe, like,
highlight of the
East
year.
Coast. Yeah, it's gonna be so good. Like
I
East
don't know. I
Coast,
kind of feel
Midwest,
like
East Coast.
I kind of feel like they might do a Midwest into like Vegas type of thing, since they're not doing Halloween and they need to hit that
Mm.
sector of the country.
They also have to do like Vermont and Maine, right? I mean, they have to, right?
Yeah.
Like
No,
if the 40th year.
No,
like, no.
I still say they're only going to do 40 shows, but we.
Well,
might
now
have
I
already
know they're
guessed
going to do
that.
Vermont because Kev's saying they're not. So that's my
Yeah,
So
barometer.
it's a
yeah.
given now, definitely.
Yeah, no Halloween, Sean. We already know they're not doing
Yeah,
Halloween.
there's no
Yeah.
Halloween.
The Sphere is interesting. We've covered this. So if you guys have been subscribed to wook+, you know we've done several videos about the Sphere.
Oh, yeah, I
Um,
saw one of those.
They are coming out. The Sphere is launching this fall. I think a lot of people, when we said that, 6 months ago, were like, no way, it won't be done. Like, it's confirmed at this point. They're definitely going to be in the fall. I'm kind of leaning more towards Fish not being an early adopter of the Sphere. It made a lot of sense contractually because of their relationship with MSG Entertainment and their history in Vegas. But when you actually dig into the details of production and how the value proposition and the cost structure of the Sphere, it doesn't super line up well with Fish's model, I think. I don't think that they'll never play the Sphere. I just don't think they're going to be an early adopter. I think you'll have other bands playing it for a couple of years, and then maybe Fish will do it. But I don't know. It'd be great. That place looks nuts. That looks so
I bet the
cool.
Sphere becomes the place where you have like the holographic Prince experience because they can do the same show and twice on Sunday for 6 weeks, and you know,
or like Gaga, Taylor Swift, or
Prince.
But if you do
like
the
Paul
holographic
McCartney will
Prince
come and
experience,
do it.
you don't even have to have catering backstage. You know, you just pop them up, and there he is. And
Maybe that'll be like the
budget-friendly,
next
right?
iteration of like Dead and Co. Like John Mayer will go off and do his thing, and then
They'll
the rest of
project
them.
Jerry up.
Yeah, they have like a Jerry projection,
holographic Jerry.
and
It'll
all
be
the
like a
heads are gonna
Jerry
be
dance
pissed
party.
off though. Like,
Yeah. That's the best.
And they
You
can
go
have
to,
an
like, the
AI
Dr. Jerry
predict what
party.
Jerry would do. They can use AI to
There you
predict
go.
what Jerry
AI
would do.
Jerry.
Chat GPT could like do Jerry
Chat
set
Jerry
lists.
PT.
Chat
Yeah.
JGB.
That's it.
T, I just heard your voice and it reminded me. I wanted to ask you how you feel about this tour coming up. You're a little sour on this. You're excited. You're the only one out of us that are catching shows. Where are you feeling about this all?
I'm excited. I'm excited to see, like we said earlier when we were talking, they haven't played Seattle in a while, and not that often either. So I think since 2014 or something was the last time they were there. So we were
Wow.
asking, like, I know Kev asked like what they haven't played there, and Llama kind of joked anything that's been in 4.0 really. So like there's a
Anything after
lot.
Big Boat, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the joke. All right, that went right over my head. I was trying to keep up with you guys.
Yeah.
But what I
no.
was wondering is if had they played a tweezer there, that kind of thing, because they did play a bunch of shows. So what is there like something weird like Ariba was never played that we can?
I don't know. Our
latch onto
producer
it?
came in for the green room and then literally fucking disappeared. He's like the exact opposite of a producer. I've been trying to get the names up on the screen for the last 30 minutes. I have no idea what's going on.
Once we go live, we can't do it.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah, somebody flipped the switch off beforehand.
Oh man, our
One me,
producer's
because
getting
I want
fired.
both.
You know, I think we'll give him a pay cut.
Yeah, that's it. The letter's going to.
I mean, but T, are you excited about going? Like, I don't know. I don't feel like you're like.
I'm excited about the bowl shows that I'm going to. I'm not excited about not going up to like it sucks that Berkeley is on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That kills me. Like I can't miss work because I just got back from.
You got to take half a day to drive up there, right?
At least, yeah, and then stay up there for 2 nights. And I don't know. My sister lives up there, but it just doesn't. It's not going to work. Like I said, like I just took 2 weeks off to get married and go on a honeymoon, so I don't really have any. Like, it's a weird time. Like I don't feel like
Congratulations.
traveling either, so I'm just kind of like, I can't get to Seattle, even though I should be going up there. But no, I'm not going to Seattle, which sucks. But I think those shows, opening shows, you know, whatever. But I think those will be fun because again, they haven't played there often, and it's been a while. So I'm interested to see how those shows come off. Berkeley's going to be awesome because the venue is fantastic, and it is weird that it's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I think that'll add a little flair to whatever's played there and stuff. I think those will be fun shows, and then I'm excited for the bowls. Always, I mean, you know, the bowl's the bowl. It's like this vast
It's
arena,
insane looking.
place. So I
Yeah.
don't know. It's
That
always
looks so cool. I've
it's
never seen a show
interesting.
there.
Like, and they do something fun. Like he played 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover last time they were here. One of the times they were here.
Oh my
We got
God.
Peaches,
That's
I think, one
insane.
time at the bowl. So
Love
there's always something fun that comes out. I mean, the Forum, the LA Woman and the Tweezer at the Forum last in
that
21
was sick.
ridiculous. But to your
Yeah.
point about set lists being janky, coming out of that and dropping into Santos is the weirdest, like fucked up, like clunker into. You're like, wait, dude, we were just raging with a Tweezer and an LA Woman, and then you're like forcing this, like, it's so. To your point earlier about not
Another crutch song.
yeah,
It's
like a total
Another
crutch where you're just
song.
like,
Yeah.
exactly.
Like West Coast Fish is just like a totally different vibe. I haven't seen
is.
West Coast Fish in so long, like so long. And I saw in '95, I saw them at the Greek, and it was like the coolest thing. That was when they were playing all the Billy Breathe songs, and it was like that weird part of fall '95, like before they were like doing big jams, and like it was just like they were just debuting all the Billy Breathe songs and like pumping them out, and that was like the start of the chess match, and like it was just such a different time in '95 is like what '95 turned out to be, but it was cool. And I don't think I've seen Fish Out West since like '96. Isn't that
Oh,
That's
crazy?
crazy. Wow.
I've never seen them
Yeah.
out west. It's like one of my bucket list things
Dick's
because those are like the
doesn't
best.
count?
Yeah.
Oh, does Dick's count? Dick's doesn't
Yeah,
count.
Dick's is out
This
west.
is like out west.
It
Yeah.
isn't
I
in
think
Right in the
that
Pacific
counts.
Pacific time
Midwest.
zone. You're almost in the right time zone, but
Yeah.
it's
All
west.
right, I've been to Dick's,
You're in the
but like
Rockies.
when I think of like West Coast Fish, though, I'm
Mhm.
like the Gorge or Hollywood Bowl or
Yeah.
Burke, like or
Coast,
Vegas.
yeah.
Like I haven't gone to Vegas. What Dick's is the furthest west I've gone. I love Dick's though.
Which
Yeah.
show
love
has
to
the
go there.
bogus ass no lot? Which one of the shows?
That was the bowl that I sent you earlier that
Mhm.
said like no. Yeah, because there's
Oh,
not
they're not going to
really,
let people.
No vending area. It said it
there's
like
not
listed- it
really
specifically
any.
was like fuck you guys.
Yeah, because there's no like the parking there is super weird too. Like if you don't know this and you're going, quick tip: don't park at the bowl because it's stacked parking. So it's stacked parking up the hill and then stacked parking all around the bowl. So if like the two cars around you don't leave, like you can be
You're
sitting
stuck.
there. Yeah, you're fucked. Like you can sit there for hours if they don't show up and shit. Like it's
That's the most West Coast bullshit thing
it
I've
is the
ever heard in my
there's
life.
things on the
We
West
would
Coast
never
that
pull
just-
that shit on the East
that
Coast.
blow
Yeah.
my
Can you
mind. Yeah,
imagine?
exactly. You're just like, wait,
People
why?
would be
How
like
is this a thing?
pushing cars out of the way, like
Right,
breaking
cars
into,
would be flipped over and
Yeah.
shit.
The East
It's
Coasters would not
insane.
put up with that shit.
How is
So there's
public
not really any. There's nowhere for a lot, but I will tell you, like right after the show, all down. I think it's like Franklin there or Highland there, down to Hollywood Boulevard is just all tanks and like Mexican hot dog stands with the bacon wrap hot dogs and
What makes a hot dog Mexican?
the
Bacon.
bacon wrap. The bacon. I mean,
The
they just
bacon,
they
is
just
that
set
the-
up
the
and there's
key?
like 30 of them. They're always outside the stadiums, just like games and concerts and shit. And it's bacon wrapped hot dogs.
You
And
just eat the most crazy shit after a fish show.
those are the two
Yeah.
things that are just lining the street, balloons and that shit, and no lot, just
quite a
that all the
combo.
way down the street.
I don't know. It's like in the normal when you're not at a show or whatever. It's like if somebody's like, "Would you put this balloon that a stranger gave you on your lips, or eat this grilled cheese you got out of a tent in a parking lot?" You'd be like, "Hell no!" But then like you're at a fish show and you're like, "Give it to me.
Give it to me. I need it.
I need more. I've never wanted anything more than this grilled cheese in my entire life. This is all I
Oh my
want
God.
right now."
Even when I was in Mexico, I was like, I need a grilled cheese after the show. And we like found one. Like somebody, when you were like walking to the after party, there was somebody making grilled cheese. It sucked because it was like, I'm like, where's my like heady butter? Like where's somebody like
Was it on
squeezed
a
it,
was it on the burner from a coffee pot or something?
Yeah, it was just like a flat thing. It was dry, but I still ate it. But I was like, I have to have grilled cheese after
I've heard you
fish,
can use
know?
an iron. If you have an iron, you can make them on the flat part of an iron.
Like,
That's some real,
You know what we
that's
should
some
do?
real shit.
We should do like a cooking show for wook+. Like,
Yeah, we've
like a
talked
guy.
about this forever.
I know. Let's bring it back. Like we'll do lock
That'd be
cooking.
so fun.
I wanted Tim to
Yeah.
walk around Deer Creek as Wook Fieri and just try all the foods from like all the people in the lot at Deer Creek.
No, we always have
Yeah.
these great ideas and like, oh, we'll do that, but we'll do this. But then you go to the show and you're like, I want to sit in my lawn chair and drink these beers and hang out with my friends and listen to music and go see. You know what I mean? Like we're fans really when it comes down to it. We're all just fans that want to have the experience. You don't want to fucking work while you're at a show.
You're like,
Yeah.
oh, I got all kinds of time. I'm in Colorado for 4 days, and you have like 20 minutes that are free the whole time that you can
Yeah.
do something.
well,
Yeah.
I have to
free.
say
I
we
mean, the
were-
rest of the time you're literally sitting on your ass a lot, but
I
But,
mean,
you
I
know,
worked
watch
when
the
we were in
flag.
AC this summer. We did like an HF Pod Live event both days out of the 3 days of AC. We did 2 days, and it was just like, it was absolutely exhausting. I mean, it was a killer. Like I would stay up till 3, 4 in the morning doing after parties, get up at like 8 to prep for the pod, go to the venue at like 11. And then, it was crushing. It was so
it's
crushing.
nuts. We used
But
to
it was
do a
really
lot
fun.
of that stuff, and then we kind of shifted to just hanging out and like put the flags up and
Yeah. Smart. Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
I
last
fully
year,
support that.
Brian had us come over for the pod one day for helping film the
Yeah, that
pod.
was so awesome. I wish I could have been there so bad.
That was
We even
fun.
had Llama talk. Someone
gotta-
handed Llama the mic, and he
He spoke.
That's awesome.
How is Brian? I gotta call him. He left
The
Twitter, and
best.
I feel so disconnected now. I
Call
don't.
him. He would love to hear from you. He's like the best person ever.
Early on, before we made, I think before either of us made a ton of content, I think he was on Beyond the Pond. But I used to hit him up
Best
for
podcast.
brackets to like, because everybody, like, I would always get like a lot of the credit, but the God's honest truth is I just was friends with people that were way smarter than me. So I used to hit him up for seeding whenever we had a jam bracket.
you did
Oh,
that
yeah.
2.0 bracket. That was the crazy.
He was my
Yeah.
number one source on all that shit. The
He
guy is
knows
a genius.
everything.
It's
He's a
insane.
genius. He's so smart. He's the best podcaster. Such a nice guy. He's become a great friend of mine. And yeah, hit him up. He'd love to hear from you. I love that guy.
All right, so Megan, can I ask you a question? I want you to tell us a story. I started
Oh,
this
no.
little project. It's ongoing and it's gonna take a while, but I find it very interesting to hear the origin of your experience with fish. The first time you either heard them or saw them, or how you were turned on to fish in the very beginning. Because I've talked to people that saw fish for the first time in 2017, 2018, and people that saw them for the first time in 89, 90, and there's obviously differences, but there's a lot of threads that are actually kind of amazing that connect us. And I
Yeah.
think you might, I don't know, you're talking, but you made me think of it when you're talking about Fall 95. I was like, you probably have some decent origin story. You want to tell us how you got introduced to the band?
Yeah, I'd love to. I mean, it was in high school. I was a huge Deadhead, and when I was like 15, I kind of wanted to hang out with these older boys. They were really cute, and they were into the Grateful Dead, and they, they were kind of like Midwestern lacrosse playing Grateful Dead fans, and they kind of opened up this like Pandora's box to me, and I was like, what is the Grateful Dead? And before I knew it, I like quit the cheerleading team, and I was like smoking pot all the time and playing hacky sack, and like I was just like super into the Grateful Dead's music. It was just like it was a treasure chest for me. And then someone gave me Rift when I was 17, and I just could not believe it. Like, I spent so much time. It was a cassette because I'm old, and I was just like looking at it, like the cover art and the lyrics, and like I was like, what is this band? They're crazy. So I started listening to them a lot and listening to tapes. And then they came to Michigan, where I grew up. They came to Grand Rapids, and I went to see them in Grand Rapids in fall of '94. And I was the 18th row, and they blew my fucking mind. They opened up with my friend, and I was like, what is happening? This is just so different than the Grateful Dead. The energy was just so vibrant. And I was seeing the Dead at the bitter end, right? Like, I saw Jerry like 12 times, but it was like I thought it was
Towards the
incredible.
end. I mean, especially
But
at
it
that
was
point.
Yeah, it was 93, 94, 95. So it was like the bitter end. And I'm so glad I got to see him, but it was so different from seeing a band when they're just so hungry like Fish was then. And Fish was so engaged with the audience. They were just like, you could see them like being like feeding off our energy, and like it was so high energy. It was, I just put on my I think it's actually on HF Pod's like Instagram and Twitter. I put like my journal entries from the first time I went to go see Fish. I have like the day of entry and then the next day, and it was I said they jammed so hard, but it was my take.
Accurate.
Yeah, they did. It was like sick Bowie that night. Like, it was great. I mean, I think I just was really blown away by like how engaged they were with us and how much they seemed to like feed off us. And, they had this like mini acoustic set. And so then after that, I was just completely sold. And I felt like the Grateful Dead was like a different generation's music that I was like kind of piggybacking onto. And it felt like Fish was like mine.
I've
And,
heard Goose fans say that
That's
now.
how people feel about Goose, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially people who like didn't get to see Fish, in
Earlier
1.0.
on.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's like, I get it. You didn't see Fish in like that, like hungry, like, 94, 95, 96, 97, like maybe not 96, but like those years that were like crazy strong. And so
I started seeing the Dead in '86 and always felt like I was jumping someone else's train. I mean,
yeah.
and I saw him for 10 years, and
Yeah,
I felt like that.
exactly.
And that's why I think Fish, my relationship with Fish has always been, they were a band that I saw in the bars and they were cool. And then they made the jump to theaters. And I was like, I hate going to theaters. I don't want to do that. And,
They got too big for you.
Right,
You're like, I
yeah.
want to see Fish in the
then
bar.
in like 95, 90, Clifford Ball, it reignited my, when I
Yeah.
turned around to Clifford Ball when they were doing Divided Sky and looked at all the people, I was like, wow, we're many. There's just, look at all
Yeah,
these
that's
people.
awesome.
So
Yeah,
that's
that
when I
was like
dove
such
back
an
in.
interesting time too in Fish. Like I remember that moment. Like I went to college in Arizona and I went out there because I wanted to see the Grateful Dead out west. That was like my dream. And then Jerry died in 1995 that summer. That was the fall I went to college. And so
Aw.
then it was like I just all of a sudden was like, well, now I'm like all in on Fish. You know, like there's no choice but to be like all in, and I was. So it was cool.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Did you
I
have
mean,
a mentor or like somebody to guide you, or were you kind of exploring it and experiencing it all on your own, like just
no,
by
yeah,
happenstance and randomly?
totally randomly. Like I was just super into adventure and partying, and so I would like
And
travel
lacrosse
around.
guys.
Yeah. Then I
Which
became
is,
into
by the way,
drums
that's
really
my
quick
origin
then.
story too. Cute guys are totally the reason I did this.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and then it just became like drug dealers. But you know, basically, like I had like you know a lot of boyfriends that were really into Fish, and not a lot, but a few. I'm getting nervous, and then yeah, I just had a lot of friends. I went on a lot of I went on tour when I could. I spent summers on tour, and it was just really fun. And yeah, I don't know, I'd never got into them. Like during 1.0, I would listen to them all the time. I was obsessed with them. I collected tapes, but I wasn't listening to them the way that I listen to them now. Like now I'm really analytical and I'm, thinking about them historically and I'm like taking note, and I'm especially since I joined the pod, it's just totally changed how I listen to Fish. And I think since I spent a lot of time like kind of away from Fish when I was having my kids and I felt like I needed to like grow up and be an adult and that was super lame. And now that I'm like realizing that like I'm trying to like tap into all that stuff that I loved when I was young, and it's been really great because I feel like I appreciate it in a way I didn't before.
No, that's
3.0, I
awesome.
only saw
Mhm.
Merriweather shows in 3.0 until 2019 because I had
Really?
2 kids,
Yeah.
and Merriweather's
Yeah.
15 minutes from me. I'm not going to go when they're 15 minutes away, but even going to Jersey or New York or Hampton, I was like, eh.
Yeah,
I'm
it's hard when you have young kids,
I'm super grateful for technology and these webcasts and stuff though, because
Yeah.
like we're having our second this summer, and I'm most likely not catching any shows live, but I fully intend on watching all the webcasts, right? Because I could still feed the kid and burp the baby and all that shit.
Absolutely. It's the best.
And I feel like you couldn't do that back in the day. So it's like I'm at that age now where I'm supposed to be taking my hiatus, but I'm still gonna be able to at least webcast.
Yes.
I'm happy.
You can push through. That's so great. I mean, I think it might have been different if like we had that, right? Like Kevin, if we
Yeah.
had that technology, it would have probably been different. If we had live Fish, if we had like, webcasts, like we didn't have any of that stuff then. So, it's different.
I wonder if that like hyper analytical consumption of Fish though also leads to the expectation thing we were talking about, right?
Totally.
Like because it's not only do they have all their history of leading up to the expectations, but I feel like not you alone, but everybody consumes it differently now. Right.
Oh,
And then
totally.
you consume it in that way. And then you go on to YouTube or like Apple Podcasts or whatever. And you have a bunch of assholes telling you what they think of. I say that lovingly because everyone here does it. But like, it's just you're analytical on top of analytical on top of analytical. And it's like, maybe it's hard for any band to live up to that,
But
type
also
of
Especially us.
environment.
in olden times, you would have a 10-pack of tapes, right? And you'd be like, I'm getting these 7 Grateful Dead tapes, I know. And you had 3 tapes, and you'd be like, do I want to get a Fish tape or do I want a widespread tape? And you had to like physically, like mentally commit to something, and because you only had this limited thing. Whereas now I'm like, I can listen to widespread for a little bit, and I'll switch over to Fish's channel and listen.
Do you listen to Panic a lot, Kev?
No,
I
I've
never knew
never.
that.
I saw Panic one time open up for Blues Traveler at Red Rocks.
I saw Panic once, and I'm sorry if there's any Panic fans because I'm gonna sound like an asshole, but it's like Woolly Mammoth or Big Woolly Mammoth. Anybody know that's? I don't know.
No, I
saw
don't.
him
I don't like Widespread Panic.
I
Okay,
do
cool.
know that song.
I saw him
do.
one time, and that song got stuck in my head, and I fucking love it. So I was like, oh, I'll check Panic out. Everything else they played, I couldn't stand. It's literally the only song I liked.
Yeah, it's not my thing. I went to school
Oh,
with a bunch of like Southerners. They were really into Panic, but it's not my thing.
yeah,
No.
they
Mhm.
they do that. You go
Kev,
down south.
that's another show we were probably at together then, because I went to all those Blues Traveler Panic shows at Red Rocks back in the day.
94
No
4th of July
way.
Yeah.
That's
94. Yeah.
amazing.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow, that's
The,
awesome.
I saw Fish there, and the only other band I've ever seen at Red Rocks was Big Head Todd. Because Big
Nice.
Head Todd was huge.
Yep.
It was
Huge.
him and the
Kev, did you
samples.
see
I mean, it was
Samples
like a
open.
local
Yeah.
band.
Yeah.
did you see Fish in 96 there?
Only
Yeah.
93 and 94.
Oh, okay. I was there in 96. You saw
Oh,
him in
nice.
96
Yeah.
shows?
I
Yeah,
never
yeah.
missed the
That
Red
ride
Rock
was
show. That's my one good claim to
Now,
fame.
were
It's
you
all
in the
13.
town?
amazing.
Do we see you in the news reports?
No, I wasn't. I mean, God, I don't even know what I was doing. A lot of drugs probably, but I was definitely like up in the things. I had mail order tickets. I still have them. They're gorgeous. They're like those beautiful, like, maroon and all the like earth tone mail orders. Ugh,
I miss
those are the
I
two.
miss mail order tickets or
I mean,
tickets
I
in
was
general.
pissed when
Yeah.
that
That
stopped.
sucks.
Pissed
Yeah.
off. Like that sucked. I have like all my ticket stubs, and I just feel like it's such shit that they don't make them anymore. Like, come on. And then
It's
they
so-
sell them on the
It's so
website.
ridiculous.
Are you
Yeah.
fucking kidding me?
That's
No.
bullshit. That
It's
is
so
Bullshit.
ridiculous.
That's a slap in the face.
bullshit.
Wait, does Goose I don't know. Does Goose sell like regular tickets?
Mm-mm, no.
No,
No.
man. They're like the
Missed
next
opportunity.
generation.
They
They're
definitely
even
should.
more
Right?
into-
That would be so retro and cool. Yeah.
They would totally stick it to them.
All right. I need to. Then they'd really like overtake them. I'm gonna tell Greg Knight this.
You know, I'm at like 94% sold. If they had paper tickets still, I would get that 100%. I think that would be the last.
Here you
thing
go.
I did.
Here you
I
go.
have
100% for you.
There you go. Oh, you got the
Oh.
ticket. Nice. You can get some. Yeah, I'm 100% sold on Goose. Just for the
Although I
record.
gotta say that I've gotten burned with shitty tickets once or twice back in the day.
Oh yeah, like buy a bunk
fakes.
ticket.
Yeah,
Mhm.
bump ticket, and I've never been more like disappointed. And naive also. Like I'll admit, like I was a youngin' and was just like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, random dude that's never heard Fish before. I'll buy this ticket from you in downtown Baltimore. Like, sure, this is gonna work out for me, but like,
On the flip side of that, it's always the greatest feeling to have that ticket in your hand and hand it to somebody and like miracle somebody and give them that like ticket. And
wait,
then,
are you
like,
talking about a bum ticket? Are you
fake
miracling
ticket?
bum tickets?
a real ticket, man?
Oh,
it's
yeah,
always
yeah,
the
yeah.
Best feeling.
I thought you
is
meant
to,
fake
like,
too.
be able
Oh,
to
there's
do
nothing
that.
like it. A miracle ticket is like the best.
And
Yeah.
now it's like you gotta like send it to them, and you don't even get to like half the time see them and like exchange
Yeah.
with it. It's I don't know. The whole thing has
Mir-
gotten so cold.
I agree.
Boston Garden in 94 at the Dead. Me and my buddy bought bunk tickets. We realized
terrible,
because when we
right?
looked at where our
That's so
seats
sad.
were, the tickets had the exact same seat. Right? They didn't even bother.
They didn't even
Yeah,
bother
so
to
good.
change the seat number.
So we're
The
going.
print like smudged with your thumb on
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So he goes in front of me. They bust him. I hop out of that line, jump over into the next line, and they let me in. Right?
No
So I
way.
go into the show and I'm like, well, fuck it. I'm in here now. I was like, he'll get in. I go back to the car, gone. He totally fucking left me.
Well, you kind of deserve it, though. I mean,
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
what the fuck,
you did
Kev?
leave him too.
I got bum tickets at Merriweather in like 15 or 16, and the cool thing was that they had a resale at the what do you call it? The box office. They were sold out for months, but we didn't have it. And I was like, well, what the fuck are we gonna do? The guy like taking tickets. He's like, well, they actually have a couple extras because I guess if people don't show up to like claim tickets, and we
Yeah.
ended up like 4 rows back from the pit at face the
That's
night of the show,
amazing.
like 5 minutes before the show. So I mean, I had to buy 2 tickets, which sucked, but like it was still a blessing to get that close, like up there. And it was one of the best
Yeah.
shows we'd seen that year. So
Was this your engagement party?
no. Well, the engagement party I bought directly from Fish. I bought like 30 tickets because
Oh my God.
yeah, we had our
That's
engagement party at
awesome.
Merriweather, and I like people that it sounds great, but all honesty,
Sounds great in theory.
don't bring people to Fish that aren't into Fish because it'll ruin your fucking night. Like
Yeah. you
2
had a
songs
big
in, like they
Fish
start talking and bullshit, and we're all kind of drunk because we were partying beforehand as an
Yeah.
engagement party. But I hate it because I'm like
Tim brought the
hardcore,
chocolate.
die
Yeah,
hard.
you're like focused. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
I
were
feel
all
like if you
like
bring somebody who's
groomsmen and
not into
bridesmen
it.
flirting and shit. It was a nightmare, but
You have to be like, if you're coming and you don't like fish, you need to like shut the fuck up and just.
I
Like,
should have given them
just,
the
like,
rules.
yeah. Yeah.
That's what I should have done. Be like, it was cool though. I mean, so
It sounds really fun.
the invitation to our engagement party we made as tickets. Like we handed out ticket
That's
stubs
so fun.
with like the dates and everything.
Yeah.
Like it was definitely really like cute, but I
No
don't know.
talking at the engagement party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
No
No
talking at the
talking after
engagement.
No
8:15
talking at the
PM.
engagement. Well, it's funny because my in-laws are kind of like buttoned up conservative military type people, like in Annapolis, like Naval Academy, like, and like they never knew like all my friends and like everything, and like all these like Wookiee ass like hippie type people show up to the engagement party, and they're just like, what the I don't know, it's wild.
Yeah. That's awesome. Sounds fun.
All right. What else we got? We had to hit it. Oh, another housekeeping thing. Next Wednesday, Fish is playing. So we are still going to go live because same time, 9:00, because it'll be before the show. But it'll be the lot, not wook+live. So if you want to, if you're an OG fan, you know what the lot is. If you're new to the channel, join us Wednesday night. It's going to be a blast bringing back the lot.
That's so fun. I love the lot. That's awesome.
It's really kind of like what made this whole thing happen. Like
the intro to the lot is the best.
And the
It
intro to the
was
lot
the
is the
best.
best.
That was for any of you that were with us and for us that were going through it, like with the pandemic and being home and all the bullshit and all the stress and everything else. Those what was it? It was Tuesdays then, right? Before dinner and
It
a
was
movie.
Tuesday, dinner and a
Yeah.
movie.
Tuesday night, those lot episodes.
So many drunk Tuesdays.
Yeah.
I mean,
Over Wednesdays.
all of us were drinking at that time. I don't drink at all like I used to. I don't think T does. I don't think Tim does either.
Kev.
What?
Did you watch last week's episode?
No, I was on last week's episode.
All right. Well, before you tell everyone that you don't drink like you used to.
Well, I don't normally.
I don't drink
Oh,
like I
that's
did
why we had
week.
last week. That's what
I
happened.
tell you what, at the height of the pandemic, I was spending $200 a week on alcohol and drinking it.
And last Wednesday night, probably the same amount.
Listen, nobody can be judged on their pandemic drinking. That's like a judgment-free zone.
I started getting like really fat. I was like, God, I just felt like bloated. I felt alcohol bloated. So I was like, I'm quitting. That's it.
I don't know though. Those shows, like both the Fish dinner and movies, but like in particular hanging out with you guys on the lot, I feel like kind of saved my life through that time period, or at least made it manageable. And like, I don't know. I'm really excited to I think we should go real heavy with the nostalgia on Wednesday night. Bring back like the old guest announcement type videos and the old lot theme and just.
Do we have guests lined up?
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Don't put me on the spot. God damn.
We got a week. We'll figure it out.
Damn,
You just say
Kev.
yes, Tim. Be like, yeah,
Yes.
we're good. We're good.
We got this.
Totally.
And then again, Saturday at 4:20 on wook+, my band Hugh is going to be broadcasting a live set.
It's going to be huge.
It's going to be huge. No, it'll be fun. I'll be honest though. I'm a little nervous. I'm super fucking nervous. Like I do this shit, right? Like you're behind the camera talking to the mic and like bullshitting. Not nervous at all. Never nervous. I could do this shit in my sleep. It's whatever. But I feel like there's a different type of vulnerability of like performing art in front of people and putting yourself out there. And listen, if it's if it doesn't go well, whatever. You don't need the bullshit, but I'm excited about it. I personally think it sounds
You
good.
can always delete it.
Catch it live. It might be your only chance.
That's right.
It's like
Oh
the
my
Goose
God.
movie. Whatever happened to the Goose movie?
I don't know.
Hopefully they
You either
burned it.
saw it that first night, or you don't get to see it unless you know someone.
I don't know though. I watch people analyze Fish and Goose, and I'm like, why would I want to be in a popular band right now anyway? It's like a bunch of assholes
hard.
get on YouTube and hyper critique everything I do.
Yeah, but if people are
True.
doing that, then you are probably
Made it.
financially okay if you can get to that point, because
I
you don't see
hope
people
so.
sitting around,
Right. You're not spending your days watching them and you have all your money plugging your ears. So you're fine. You're fine. You're not worried about it.
Yeah. Well, I hope everybody joins us Saturday. I hope also 15 minutes after Encore. And then Meg, why don't you run down all your plugs because you got a bunch of stuff going on.
Yeah, HF Pod is, every Friday now at 4:30. We've moved to Fridays, so we're at 4:30, and we're deep in our 40 for 40, where we are looking at a show from each of Fish's
Love
40
it.
years. It is so fun. It's some of the best work I've done on the pod. I think it's just been really, really great for us. And we're in 1995 this year. So I got to pick the show that we're talking about. We're talking about 10/21/95. I was so nervous to pick this show because it's Brian and Jonathan's favorite year of Fish. So, they're the most opinionated, so knowledgeable. The pressure was on. We couldn't pick any show that Undermine did. So that's like 3 of the December shows. So I didn't want to do a December show. It was hard, but I'm happy with where we landed. The show, if you haven't listened to it in a while, it's so good. But yeah, HF Pod is every Friday, 4:30. We're going to do 2 recaps during spring tour. We're going to do one on April 20th, and we're going to do one on the 24th. So check
nice.
those out. Yeah, so we'll do 2 kind of like one in the middle and one at the end. And then, we'll be back this summer. We'll do daily recaps this summer for sure.
Awesome.
And
Yeah,
then,
partnering with
yeah.
you guys last year was incredible. I
That
loved
was
that.
so fun. That was so fun. Although the first time I was ever on with you guys, I had to do trivia, which I am terrible at. And I was the only one on HF Pod to get it wrong. I knew that was going to happen. It was
Yeah.
so embarrassing.
You
but it's
guys
okay.
destroyed us, though, as I remember
We
it.
have Brian, Jonathan, and RJ. Like, what? Of course we did. Like, they're just geniuses. But they covered me. But yeah, so yeah, check HF Pod out if you don't know about it, and hopefully we can partner with you guys again because that was really, really fun.
And
Yeah.
if you are into it, we are also going to be doing the Dead and Company recaps this summer.
Oh, nice.
We will be.
So since it's the last tour, we might as
Yeah,
well
that's awesome.
give them a
That's
little
so
something, something. And we have Matt
well.
Bush coming up on 5/3. So mark your calendars
Oh,
for
nice.
that.
That's
More
awesome.
set list talk, probably.
That's it. That's all we're gonna talk about.
I mean, yeah, I had a million of questions. He talked for an hour about it before, and I was like, all right, well, what a
That's awesome.
All right.
Great.
Oh,
that
yeah.
it?
And I'll tell people again about the Snarky Puppy podcast. It's called Things of Gold. Check it out. We just released our 2nd episode, and we're kind of chronicling Snarky Puppy's evolution from 2015 through a few more years. So check it out. It's really fun. Ryan and I have a
love
good time. I
Snarky
make fun of
Puppy.
Ryan.
I
They're
can't wait.
insane. Yeah. thanks.
I'm digging this new podcast of yours. I'm really excited about it, and I hope everybody
Thanks,
else
Tim.
goes and checks it out.
Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it.
All right, guys. Well, I think that's it. Join us next week. We'll see you next time.
Awesome seeing you, Megan. See you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks,
so
Megan.
good. Thanks so much for having me. This is so fun. I'll come back anytime.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.